Hello, Incapacitator Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall with me, BlueAnkylo. So last episode, we began work on Iger's mission to, well, stop the engineer. And we had some issues with combat and, you know, killing the target that, I mean, I wanted to kill him, but I guess we need to get more information out of him than that. So, we're gonna do our best here. So I'm still not sure 100% how this will work, but clearly we need to try the cyberware deactivator on this guy so he can't run away. Extremely close range. Seems like maybe we just give it a shot? I don't know. Go for it. Minus 6 AP. Well, that looks good. So, it was actually really easy, and if I just started with that last episode, we would be fine. So we're still in combat, though. And there was some ley lines around here. I don't know what angle we'll be attacked from. I don't think there'll be anyone behind us, so maybe from this one. So let's switch to long range and do Overwatch. Here they come. Of course, we did not get an Overwatch, and I got hit critically immediately, because that's what always happens in this game. I don't know what else to say, but anyway, Iger still has her aim accuracy. This guy is out in the open too. Dead-eye shot. Dead-eye him. We did not get a crit. She's got one more shot. Well, we still have all our combat buffs, so that's something. I think I'm gonna heal myself, because I'm just gonna get shot every round. Seems to be the new meta. I guess, you know, if Iger hits him again, even if I don't shred his armor, maybe I could kill him with one of my attacks. 44% with magic is just, it's so unreliable. I don't see anything that I can summon out here either. Maybe I should just get in cover. I mean, you know, the ley lines are pretty awesome, but I can get in cover behind this van in one action, and then we're not grouped up. Could also move here with Iger, but yeah, let's just go easy cover. And we actually can't even see him from here. Typical. I guess I should have shredded his armor before I did that, now that I notice. Well, let's, I guess we'll put aim on ourselves just in case it helps next turn. How did Iger... Oh, right, I just didn't take her second shot. Well, if we can kill this guy, 71%, and then a perfect... It'll basically kill him in one hit if the crit activates, so... Of course we missed. Alright, they got more people. Long range shotgun, at least it didn't do any damage. This guy foolishly ran towards us. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know how I cannot see him here. Like, I don't understand why this is impossible. It's not like I'm 2 steps behind cover. This is the last piece of cover before there's no cover. That's very odd. Does this guy technically have cover? No. So we could... I don't want to do this. I mean, I could probably take a couple steps out, try to hit him with some acid. I don't know. I think we just try to blow this guy away with the shotgun. 91%. Yeah, it's pretty standard for this game, honestly. I mean, you know, 91% is supposed to be miss 1 in 10, but we miss maybe 50-50 at 90%. It seems to be my experience here. So yeah, instead of killing one of these guys that's completely not in cover at all, just don't kill anybody. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Well, he's going to be able to flank me one way or the other, so hopefully we can see him from here. There we go. 78%. Range seems to be a factor for magic attacks, which is kind of odd. I mean, I guess it's fair, but it seems a bit strange to me. Anyway, if we could get acid on him, that'll probably kill him. You know, Well, good. We did hit him, and he died, so... Or he did not die. There we go. Thank goodness. It's so hard. The odds... Okay. Iger, triple shot. That'll be all we need. This guy is out of line of sight for Lady Blue. So, we're just sort of counting on sniper rifle. Why is your aim so... Oh, the haste wore... Or the aim wore out. Okay. Buffer aim and give her haste. That's, like, perfect buffing. Surprisingly low odds to hit. I wonder if this guy's kind of mid-range. Like, we're actually getting an aim penalty for our sniper rifle at this point. I bet you that's what's happening here. Alright, we got totally lucky there. Good. Help me drag this guy back into the warehouse. We're gonna find out what he knows. So that went out pretty well. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you know, as much as the combat is kind of crazy, at least we came through that pretty smooth. The engineer lies splayed out on the ground, his body trembling violently. Iger shoves a bottle up his nose and squeezes. The engineer shudders violently, and then the trembling begins to subside. Trembling. She glances at you. Aerosol BZD to help treat the seizures. Bannock was kind enough to include it in his goodie bag. It won't last long, but should give Yuli here enough muscular control to answer a few questions. The engineer's voice comes out in a trembling stutter. Fuck you, troll. Iger raises an eyebrow. See, he's talking already. The engineer's eyes burn with hate. Beads of sweat dot his brow as he struggles to control the tremors that rack his body. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and releases it slowly. The trembling begins to subside. It's not like we've got any muscles. We could punch him, but, like, Iger's the only one that could do any damage. We've got little flimsy elf arms, couldn't do anything. Let's just stare at him. The silence stretches. Finally, the engineer speaks. Tell me what you want from me, so I can tell you to go screw yourself. I wouldn't recommend that, Yuli. You know who I am. You can see it in your eyes. You remember me from the old days, right? Her voice is cold, sharp. You know what I'm capable of, so do yourself a favor, answer our questions. The orc's eyes shift from Iger to you. Yeah, I know you, troll, but your friend I do not know. Did she have the stomach for this? Not many do. Playing the quiet game. We're gonna make him speak all on his own. I don't have to do anything. Iger inclines her head in your direction. She doesn't talk much, but she's a great listener. Of course, if you don't tell her what she wants to hear, she might lose her patience, and then, well, then things are gonna get loud. Not. I love how Iger just picks up on my plan. That's great. You're helpless, Yuli, a cripple. But if you answer our questions, things will go easier for you. So tell us, whose payroll are you on? Me? His voice sounds stronger now. The stutter that marred his speech has almost completely faded away. I'm on nobody's payroll. I'm here on vacation. She grabs a fistful of the orc's hair and lifts his head. Her face is inches from his. Tell us who sent you to Shadowrun Nest. There's a long pause. Eventually, the engineer looks away. Alright, you want to know so badly, I'll tell you. Temanus sent me here. They want to use Shat Nest. We could add some stutters. As a base of operations in Berlin. My point of contact is a ghoul named Beetle. He leans forward and locks eyes with Iger. There, now you've got your intel. Set me free or kill me. Yuli. Iger leans back, shaking her head. You wouldn't roll over on an employer this easily. Your rep tells me that much. He raises an eyebrow to mock astonishment. No? Nah, Iger's right, you're jerking us around. You wanted a name, I gave you a name. Want more, I can give you those too. I can name you 100 clients who'd love a piece of Shut Nest. How do you intend to determine who really sent me? Oh, you let me worry about that. Oh, I intend to. He wrestles the corner of his mouth up into a smirk. I've got no worries. I already know what my future holds. Maybe you try to reason with me and that fails. Maybe you try coercion. That'll get you nowhere too. You try beating me, and I start giving names. More names than you know what to do with. Torture me or don't, it all ends the same way. I'll be dead. You'll know nothing for certain, and my clients will move ahead on schedule. Well, help us out then. If you're already dead, why do you care about being a snitch? I won't give your she-troll the satisfaction. She wants it. That's why she won't get it. Well, that's just rude. Iger's hands bunch into fists. She's still smiling, but you can feel the heat of hatred behind her eyes. If you don't start telling me what I want to hear in the next 30 seconds, this is gonna get messy. Go for it. You know, Iger, he takes his time pronouncing the name, savors it. I'd like to tell you a story. We share so much history, you and I. Iger says nothing, but her eyes narrow. The engineer continues, his grin broadening. This is a funny story. It's a story about your time in the KSK, a story about futility. I can tell you all about the many lives you've touched, and how the syndicates touched them again afterwards. Would you like that? There's a long pause. Eventually, Iger turns to face you. Lady Blue, do me a favor. Sweep the building for intel. Anything that we might have missed. Yeah, I'm on it. Have fun. She shoots a disgusted glance at your captive. Yeah, don't worry, I will. I mean, what? Am I going to help out this guy? Such a jerk. Sweep the building for intel, she asks. Alright, let's go look around. All kinds of stuff. Chemical storage barrels. A light jostle shows that they're completely empty. That's no fun. But a courier drone. It looks melted. The cargo container is empty. What about this one? The generic courier drone has been snapped together out of prefab parts from a dozen different manufacturers. It's a cheap utilitarian thing, remarkable only in that it is so incredibly plain. A half-bright teenager could cobble something like this together in an afternoon. The drone sits in a charging cradle, its turbofan unpowered. A cheerful green light blinks on in front of the panel to remind you that it's still active. You can see the silhouette of something under the flimsy plastic dome of the drone's cargo compartment. Whatever this thing was here to deliver, it's still carrying it. Pop the lid. You depress the catch on the container's plastic lid. Rather than swing open, the lid slides back to reveal a touchpad. Looks as though this thing is password locked. Well, let's have a closer look. We're so smart. Taking a closer look, you notice something strange. There's a set of electrical contact plates lining the lip of the drone's cargo compartment. It's a fair bit that this thing is outfitted with an anti-tampering system of some kind. So smashing it, probably not a great idea. And I don't know the password, so hopefully we can figure that out. So what do you think? Courier drone was sent here to deliver something to the engineer, and he just hasn't had a chance to pick it up yet? Oh look, dead people. The broken body of a human man lies on the floor. His face is a mess of fresh cuts and congealing blood. His head is oddly deformed. Despite his wounds, his mouth is twisted into a macabre smile. Judging by the shape of the ganger's head, you'd guess that his skull has been fractured in at least 3 places. The center of his forehead is particularly gruesome. It looks soft, as though skin were stretched like a tent between shreds of broken bones. Gross. Looking up, you can see a great smear of gore on the door of the room that you found him in. The implications are clear. This man bashed his own head in trying to get out, and he did it with a smile on his face. His hands are badly broken too. You've seen these sorts of injuries after bare-knuckle fights, but never anything this severe. The man punched something hard and went on punching until his hands were reduced to useless slabs of meat. Well, if we had biotech, we might be able to try to figure it out. Sounds like he went a little bit insane, so maybe some drug or something was causing him to go nuts. I don't know. Someone locked him in here and he basically beat himself to death on the walls. And he was smiling, so that surely sounds like drugs. Having fun, Iger? Don't mind me. Can you go through? No, you can't go through that side. You can go through this side. A ledger? There's a small ledger lying on this crate. The cover is cheap leatherette. and the paper is tissue-thin newsprint. The pages are filled to overflowing with handwritten text. You don't recognize the language, but judging by the accent marks, you'd guess it's a Scandinavian tongue. While you can't read it, the arrangement of the text tells you that this ledger is primarily being used as an address book. Pocket it. Nice. Nothing else? Okay. Just grab the ledger book. Maybe we can use that as some sort of leverage. Leverage? The forklift tires are flat. Aww. That's not a whole lot to go on. Still need to figure out that drone. Inventory. I guess it's in mission items. So I do have that ledger. Maybe Iger can speak Scandinavian. Speak Scandinavian, you know, whatever language it is. Norwegian or something. Hey Iger, how's it going? As you approach, you can see that the engineer's chest is shaded with blood. Most of it seems to be streaming from his nose, which has been crushed into a wad of bloody meat. Iger turns to face you. Her bunched fists are dripping red. Find anything? She speaks to you through clenched teeth. Her voice sounds strained, and her cheeks are flushed. Having fun? I'm not doing this for fun, I'm doing it because he deserves it. If you knew half of what this bastard has done, if you'd heard the things that he just told me, you'd do the same. Fair enough, just don't get carried away. We need him. She pauses, then turns away. Just tell me what you found. Yes, please. The engineer's voice is thick and wet. He smiles through a set of gore-streaked teeth. Enlighten us. I found this ledger. I don't know, but it kind of looks Scandinavian. Iger leafs through the journal, quickly flipping the Soikev stain page. Norwegian, maybe. Good guess, Blue. I'm thinking this is written in Bokmal. I would not be able to guess that. I can't read it, but it looks like a shipping manifest. Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of addresses in there. She rifles through the pages, flipping the cheap paper with her thumbnail. Looks like addresses all the way through. Some are annotated, but I can't see any names. 2/3 of the way through the book, she stops short. Yeah. Wordlessly, she turns the journal around. At the top of the page, written in a different hand, is a single word, written in English. Wednesday. She nods. Yeah, not particularly helpful without a full date, but I guess it's something. Of course, Wednesday might not refer to the day of the week at all. It could be something like a code. It's impossible to say, though. But it's the one word in English. So what do you make of this? This should be good. Iger ignores him. Her gaze remains fixed on the book. It might be nothing. Or it could mean that he's back in bed with the Lebowchevsky Syndicate. I have no idea how to pronounce it. The engineer holds his silence. Did you find anything else? We need to be sure about this before we're moving forward. Well, I found a body in the outer room. From the looks of it, he tried using his head to beat down a steel-enforced door. Interesting, but not unusual in these parts. There are all kind of drugs that could make a person act that way, and most of them aren't hard to get in a place like Shatnest. Alright, I'll keep looking. I got an idea, though, now. Wednesday, huh? There's really only, like, 3 things you can click on, so... What do you think? Can I even spell it? Remember, English is weird. It's not spelled the way it's pronounced. Wednesday. That should work. Hopefully. Nice! The plastic lid on the cargo container pops open with a click. Inside, you find what appears to be a homemade SimSense chip. It sits securely in a custom-made plastic bracket. Sounds good. You pop the chip out of the bracket and pocket it. A few seconds later, an angry hissing sound comes from somewhere deep within the drone. Self-destruct? Yep. As you step away from the drone, the hissing sound grows into a roar. Bright white sparks spit out from the drone's melting chassis and streaks across the room. You've seen this kind of reaction before. Thermite. Whoever built the drone must have wired it with self-destruct device. Within seconds, all that's left behind of this little drone is a molten wreck of charging cradle. Foul-smelling smoke pours from the remains. You steal another glance at the chip you recovered and turn away. So what did I get? SimSense? Homemade SimSense chip. Homemade SimSense. I wonder if there was one of those in this guy. And if you had the biotech, you would have noticed it. But now maybe we've got a lead on it? Alright. Fractured skull, yeah. Looks like I might not find anything else about that there. Well, I don't want to miss anything before I talk to Iger again, so let's just do another quick scan of the area. I just don't want to mess this up if there's a way to mess it up. I'm holding Alt all the time. Alt is your light stuff up button. Alright, I mean, there's basically nothing left to click on. So unless you absolutely need Biotech 4 to solve this, there's nothing else I can do. Unless we can go back outside. Doesn't look like it. Alright, I think that's probably all I can do. You're back. Find anything? There's a pair of courier drones in the other room. No marking. They look custom built. One of them had been slag, but the other one had this chip in its storage compartment. When you produce the chip, the engineer's eyes widen slightly. He turns his head and coughs rack his body. Interesting. This means something to you, Yuli? Iger takes the chip from you and holds it up to the light. No identifying markings. I've seen enough BTLs in my time to know one when I see it, but this is different. It's been modified somehow. Go ahead and slot it, bitch. It'll take you on the ride of your life. Iger raises an eyebrow. Smack him for me, will ya? I'm busy. Why not? Your fist connects with the ruined meat of the engineer's nose. Just lucky we didn't hurt our own hand. He coughs, chokes on his own blood, and then spits a wad of it into your chest. Yeah, thanks. You don't know what you're holding, slag. He spits the words out of his mouth like venom. His eyes are locked on the chip in Iger's hand. Slowly, he licks his lips. You don't deserve to touch that chip. I thought this guy was a professional. He is. I know his rep. I know that he's much too careful to get himself addicted to Sims. She glances at the engineer, his eyes locked onto the chip. If these things have him hooked this badly, they must be even more addictive than standard BTLs. This wouldn't be the first time that something like this hit the streets. Talk with enough Sim junkies and you'll hear about it all. Interesting, tell me more. Well, there's sort of a legend out there on the streets. The ultimate high, they call it 2XS. Huh, never heard of it. Supposedly, it hit the streets of Seattle a couple years ago, vanished after a couple months, then one day, gone the next. Nobody knows why. Scary stuff. I haven't heard rumors of anything like that around here, thank God. I'm not saying this is 2XS, or even anything like it, but there are Sims out there that are even stronger than BDLs. It's possible this is one of them. She turns to face the engineer. You got anything to add to that, Yuli? You have no idea how wrong you are about all of this. He struggles to rise from the floor, but the muscles refuse to cooperate. Finally, he gives up with a scowl. If I could move my arms, I'd take the chip from you and show you what it does. I'm sure you would. She glances over her shoulder at you. Good find, Lady Blue. Struck a nerve. Any other thoughts? Yeah, actually, I think I might know where the other chip went. Remember the body we found? Yeah, good thought. Go check it out. But be quick. I don't know how much longer before we'll have company. Yeah, that's actually exactly what I was thinking just a little while ago. This body might have a chip in it. The ruined body lies crumpled on the floor, its fractured skull, etc., etc. Peeling back a patch of matted hair, you find something that a casual viewer would have missed. The man had a chip jack. It's a cheap model, sufficient for loading SimSense chips and BTLs, but little else. It doesn't take much effort for you to pry it open. Inside the chip jack, you find a glob of plastic. It looks as though whatever this guy was running melted down sometime after he slotted it. A chip jack like this couldn't generate enough heat to destroy a SimSense chip. The only logical conclusion is that the chip itself was wired to melt down after its use. Sounds rough. So, get you high and then actually melt your brain? So you go... I don't understand. That seems... Well, it might just be like an assassination technique. The engineer's eyes remain locked on the chip. His face has gone pallid white, and his shirt is drenched with sweat. His eyes bulge, his breathing is heavy. Iger glances up from your manic captive and looks you in the eye. Find what you were looking for? Yeah, I pried this chip jack open and found a blob of melted plastic inside. Still warm to the touch. Iger examines the remnants of the chip. I've heard of things like this before. Single-use sims designed to self-destruct after they've slotted. Keeps the customers from reusing the same BTL over and over. I'd say you found our other missing chip. Yeah, I agree, but the ganger who slotted this wasn't blissed out like a normal sim junkie. It was almost the opposite. He looked wild, like a madman. Madman. The engineer lets out a chuckle. It's hoarse barking sound. You don't know a damn thing. Well, I know that we have something you want, something you're willing to die for. Death is nothing. Nothing. If you'd seen what I've seen, you would know for yourself. The chip, it opened your eyes. Slot one and you become a god. Iger stares at him, her expression flat. The engineer sneers. I, too, was a skeptic. Then the wolf caught me, and the raven opened my eyes. And now at last I can see! Suddenly he lurches forward, every muscle in his body goes tight, and the cords stand out on his neck. Give me the chip! It was promised to me! I need it! Well, tell us who you're working for, it's all yours. The engineer spits out a mouthful of blood. It hits the tile floor with a sickening splat. Grinds his teeth, then snarls out a single word. Winter night. There is a moment of silence. Finally, Iger speaks. Never heard of them. Of course you haven't, bitch. If you had, you'd already be dead. They don't leave loose ends. His body begins to tremble. Looks like the drugs are wearing off. They have money, she troll. Money and influence enough to put the syndicates to shame. Even I cannot say how much, but I do know that what I've seen, just the tip of the spear. Alright, let's say you're telling the truth and some sort of secret society is behind this. What do they want with the Shat Nest? They do not tell me these things. All I know is that they want to store things here. Crates, boxes, shipped in from all over. No cargo inspections, no traces back to them. What are they shipping in? Weapons? Drugs? More BTLs? He eyes her incredulously. You think that I asked them? It's not my place, you know. All that I know is what was promised me. Give me the chip. You promised. She promised you the chip. Iger smiles at the engineer slowly. She pulls a knife from her belt. Its serrated edge glints in the light. I, on the other hand, didn't offer you a goddamn thing. She's got you there. Iger leans in to look the engineer in the eye. She grins. Goodbye, Hewley. She plunges her blade into the engineer's throat. The orc lets out a startled, gurgling sound, thrashes, and dies. Iger wipes her hands clean and looks up, an expression of grim satisfaction on her face. Well, that takes care of that. Thanks for the assist, fearless leader. Anytime! Well, no problem. We aren't done yet. We still have to figure out about what Winter Night is all about. Can't do it, fearless leader. What you're suggesting is beyond the scope of our capabilities. I don't have any contacts in Norway. We wouldn't even know where to begin looking for Winter Night. And if we found them, then what? The two of us aren't going to stop an international conspiracy of our own. We're good, but we're not that good. Well, you got a point. You got a point there. We'll let the Flux State handle it. Good call. Now, there's just one more thing I want to do before we head back home. She gestures at the engineer's lifeless body. We still need to search the bastard. Who knows? Maybe he has some additional evidence on him. Or in him. Could be that he has headwear storage. We don't know until we go digging. Alright, let's get it over with. Time passes, the job is long and unpleasant, but eventually you find something. A hidden storage compartment in one of the engineer's cyber arms. Deactivated, as his cyber arm is, it takes some prying to get it open. But Iger leans in and puts some muscle into it. With a metallic snapping sound, the compartment yawns open. Iger reaches in and pulls out a cylindrical object about the size of a beer can. She inspects it, and a smile creeps across her face. What the hell is that? She holds the object up for your inspection. This, my friend, is a pulse grenade. The last I heard, the Russian military were developing them as crowd dispersal devices, but that was years ago. Looks like Yuli kept a memento of his time in the Spetsnaz. She examines the grenade with a critical eye. Looks like typical Russian engineering, clunky but functional. If I took the thing apart, I bet that I could figure out how they made it. Anything else in there? She dips her hand into the secret compartment one more time. No, not that I can... Without warning, the engineer's cyber arms begin to twitch. His body bucks convulsively while his dead eyes stare straight ahead. Iger snatches her hand back. What the... The engineer's body surges forward, a violent convulsive motion. His eyes bulge out of his skull, then his chest evaporates in a spray of light. As you watch, the chemical fire that rages from the engineer's body blackens his flesh and spits sparks across the room. It's the same reaction you saw when the drone went up. Thermite. Well, his employers, Winter Knight, they must have implanted that thing in him. Yeah, must have. I'm willing to bet that if we hadn't used the cyberware deactivator on him, he'd have gone up before he had a chance to spill any names. Well, if you were looking for further proof, I think that was it. Yeah, looks that way. Let's go. People need to know about this. Now, I'm actually kind of upset because I happen to know that there's a different reward for this mission that's better than a pulse grenade. And apparently I picked the wrong conversation options for that. Now, I'm thinking I might want to reload it to see if I can figure out how to get it, actually, because, I mean, spoiler alert, it's actually like a weapon upgrade for Iger, and that's something I kind of want. Let's just give this another try. There should be a save from after the fight. And you'll save. Actually, this might not be till after... Well, stick with me, guys. We'll skip through the text and stuff. This shouldn't take very long. We're done the mission, and we're not going to do too much more for this episode other than go back to the Chris Bazaar. But I didn't read how to get it, but I was looking through my walkthrough, and I know for Iger that supposedly the reward for doing this mission properly is a better weapon. And you know, it's so hard to upgrade your crew. I don't want to miss that. So, I mean, we'll just zip through this combat again. We're at the beginning of the episode, so... I kind of am mad that we didn't get the Overwatch last time. Overwatch is... I don't understand. It just doesn't seem to work the same. Anyway, we wanted to see the combat, right? So, good. You like watching this kind of stuff, probably. I wonder if the RNG is exactly the same... You know, it might be that even when you reload, the actual, the way the RNG works might be identical, even though you've reloaded the game. Like, it might be a seeded RNG. Still not really close enough to hit him with anything. I'll try the acid. Oh, that's not what I meant to do, but whatever. Hey, at least we hit him, and it was a crit. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. Well, the acid, I think, was an improvement over hiding behind the truck. Maybe I can just finish him off from here. Maybe with the mana bolt, or whatever it's called. The power bolt, that is to say. Figures. Surely, you can't miss 3 out of 3. Thank goodness. I was getting a little bit worried. Alright, and then this guy's just out in the open. 2 for 2 there, at least. Oh, don't run away! You're just gonna make this take longer. Maybe I can get an angle from over here. Oh, he's in cover now. Still basically dead. Haste is up. Heist dagger. Alright. So yeah, let's just skip through all this stuff real quick. We won't wait around for the text this time, but I'll try. I think I need to not kill him, or maybe I need to not let Iger kill him, because I think. Well, we'll still do the basically the same stuff. I liked my choices the first time through, so I don't feel like we want to retcon, you know, a different interrogation technique. I think, like, we needed to use the SimSense, or the BTL chip for something. Yeah, it doesn't, I don't think it matters. I think most of this stuff doesn't really matter if we, I think the text options, like they are for most games, they don't take too much, they don't make too much difference. Alright, so we need the ledger to get the password. Actually, do we need... Well, I'll gotta pick it up anyway. I wonder, like, seeing as I know the password ahead of time, do I actually need to even do that? Let's go sequence break here. Just for interest's sake. I mean, from what I hear, if you're following the guide, if you're into just following it rather than looking it up yourself, a lot of stuff, if you know the password, you can just type it in. It doesn't matter if you actually found the password properly. Alright, just enter the password. Yeah, it just opens up. Hopefully, hopefully doing this out of sequence doesn't cause any problems. But I assume the programmers would have accounted for that. People just reloading it and knowing the password, right? Alright, so she's been beating him up. Having fun, you know, whatever. Same old, same old. Just don't kill him. Like she did. So we've got this SimSense chip. He isn't worth the effort. Probably the better option. So, he's an addict. We can talk all about this potential BTL here, because we're amazing at etiquette. Alright, we'll go find the corpse, because I think clearly to wrap this up you need proof of what the BTL does. So I guess if you had biotech, you could probably just grab this right away. Yeah, I bet you if you had biotech, you could just grab it earlier. Alright. I suppose technically, you know, I never showed her the ledger. That was the link to the Scandinavian, but, you know, we'll just pretend we know that. Alright, so let's be careful here. Well, yeah, most of this should be the same. You don't know a damn thing. Well, why don't you educate us? So yeah, he thinks this is the best thing since sliced bread. Really likes it. Gives us the name. So I just need to make sure we don't let him die. So, like, we got all the information about Winterlight. Well, so maybe it's this one. Instead of letting Iger take charge here, at this point, I'm like, maybe we should let him slot this thing. She looks at the chip in her fingers, then down at the engineer's trembling body. Slowly, a smile spreads across her face. Not unless he sweetens the deal. Yeah, this is it. You hear that, Yuli? I'll give you what you want, but you need to make it worth my while. He licks his lips and nods feverishly. I have a stash. Here in the warehouse. Custom rifle. It's all yours. Yeah, I shouldn't have been greedy and let her kill him. Iger looks back to you and raises an eyebrow. I could use a new rifle. What do you think? To be perfectly honest, I was just toying with him. Nah, let's get the new rifle. That sounds like a great idea. Over there in the corner, there's a duffel bag under the floor plate. Now, give it to me. Alright, Yuli, here you go. Iger leans in and grabs the engineer's head with her left hand. Then pries his chip jack open with her right. She slaps the chip into the jack, clicks it shut. Seconds pass. Nothing happens. What have you done? Why don't I feel anything? Oops, sorry, Yuli. I guess that cyberware deactivator shut down your chip jack, too. Somewhere in the back of that addled skull, I'm sure that you probably knew that. But then, hope springs eternal, doesn't it? I said we'd give you the chip. Never promised you it would work. I'm going to kill you. Did you hear me? I'll rip out your spine. Well, good luck with that. The engineer's eyes bulge and he beats the back of his head against the floor. He opens his mouth to speak again, but the only sound that comes out is a gurgling scream. Iger takes a step back. Something's wrong, look at his hands. The orc's mil-spec cyber arms are twitching. His fingers seem to move on their own accord, writhing aimlessly in the air. The light on his chipjack begins to blink. How long is that cyberware deactivator supposed to work? She reaches for her shotgun. Longer than this. I'm gonna kill Bannock when... The engineer's body surges forward, a violent convulsive motion. His eyes bulge out of his skull. Then his chest evaporates in a spray of light. Whoa, step back, Lady Blue. Way back. As you watch, the chemical fire that rages from the engineer's body... Okay, so same old, same old. He was gonna explode no matter what we did. Okay, now the rifle is what I really want to see. So, I mean, if you're playing along, choose your poison. Do you want a grenade, or do you want a rifle? You reach into the vent and retrieve a navy blue duffel bag, just as the engineer said you would. The distinctive shape of a rifle barrel can be seen through the canvas. Here you go, Iger. She takes the bag from you and unzips it. Her eyes go wide. When he said that this was custom, he wasn't kidding. Gingerly, she reaches into the bag and pulls out a sleek, angular shape. This is a Steyr AUG CSL multi-weapon system. A very nice and very expensive piece of hardware. Yuli put a lot of aftermarket work into this. I don't even recognize some of the accessories he's bolted onto this thing. What you think? Want to take it out for a test ride? She shoulders the rifle and peers through its scope. A grin grows on her face. Yep, yes I do. It looks like these aftermarket mods have more or less locked it into an assault rifle configuration, but that's alright. I've been looking for a worthy mid-range weapon, and this'll do nicely. She slings the rifle, then claps you on the shoulder. Come on, fearless leader, let's go back home. Alright, lead the way, I'm right behind you. Alright, so can we see this amazing new gun we've picked up? Here we go. We have shotgun and the Steyr AUG CSL. 15 damage, lots of bullets, rifle. So we already had a sniper rifle, one shot, long range. We get short range penalties all the time though. This puppy is technically long, but I don't believe they get short range penalties. I have heard that if you're building a Street Samurai, rifles are the way to go because rifles are just generally the best at all ranges. Sniper's great at super long, but rifle is also really good at long and short and medium. And shotguns are only good at short. So, I mean, I haven't, we'll have to test it out, but I've heard that the general assault rifles, if you're building your own character to be a ranged weapon user, that's probably the way to go. You know, pistols and SMGs, they're all good, but apparently your rifle skill works real well with which rifles, or whatever your skill's called. Your rifle skill, yeah, specifically. So, like, you don't need to waste points into shotgun if you just bring a really good rifle. Alright. Well, sorry for doing that mission twice, or that end of the mission twice there, but, you know, I figured, you'd be okay. Oh, I guess this is straight up it. The U-Bahn whisks you back toward the Kritz Bazaar. Iger stands by your side. The image of the engineer's body disintegrating in flame replays itself over and over in your mind. The bright flash, the shower of sparks, the overpowering stench of sizzling meat. A blue-green afterimage hangs suspended in the center of your field of vision, and it refuses to be blinked away. From what Iger told you, the engineer was a menace, an international criminal at the top of his game. And as you watched, he was consumed from within by a device that marked him as disposable. The rattle of your U-Bahn car is coming to a halt. Coming to a halt shakes you from your reverie. You're home. Well, even the best can get addicted to these crazy BTLs, I guess. 2 karma, not a whole lot. Theoretically, didn't make any money on that mission, but that's okay. I'm thinking of putting my next 4 points here into quickness. I mean, I could get biotech or intelligence. Focus on magic stuff, but honestly, we get shot up so much. I'm thinking maybe... Well, quickness says reduces the chance to be hit by enemy physical attacks. Dodge says helps to reduce the chance to be hit by physical attacks. Is that like ranged rather than just melee? Or, well, they both say enemy physical attack, so I don't know if that's the same. Maybe it doesn't matter, like melee and ranged attacks are both dodged, or maybe dodge is like only melee. It's how do you dodge bullets? You know, you dodge someone's punch, but you don't dodge a bullet, I don't think. I don't know, I'm gonna put the points there. Maybe that'll help keep us alive. I'm not gonna put too much more into quickness and body and all that, but you know, I might get dodge up to 3 or 4, maybe biotech up to 3, some cheap, easy upgrades, maybe another point in body for the HP, and then, you know, once the next round of new spells get unlocked, we'll talk about, you know, where I want to spend the big points. So I think we'll talk to Iger to finish this mission off, but, you know, we're probably pretty much done for today, and then we can go do Glory's mission next episode. Iger welcomes you with a nod. Lady Blue, what can I do for you? Well, we should probably talk about what happened with the engineer. She nods. Agreed. I'm ready to go over it if you are. So, the engineer was working for a secret society. I wasn't expecting that. Neither was I. She frowns. A part of me is still having trouble believing it, but it's true. Yuli wasn't lying. I could see it in his eyes. Have you been able to do any digging on Winterlight? No, there just isn't much reliable information out there. Whoever these guys are, they're very good at information control. None of my contacts could find anything but rumors and conjecture. And most of that is too crazy to even consider. Well, how crazy are we talking? Completely insane. Stories about magical nukes and the end of the world, Fenrir shamans, Ragnarok, that kind of thing. She shakes her head. Like I said, nuts. Maybe they're running a disinformation campaign, putting strange rumors to create plausible deniability. That's what I was thinking, yeah. Corporations and government do it all the time. Why not these guys? Anyway, we stopped them cold in Shatnest. Whatever their business is, whatever was going to be in those crates that the engineer was having shipped there, it isn't our problem anymore. The Crisp Bazaar is safe, on that front at least. I hope you're right. Chin up, fearless leader. We did good back there. Besides which, we still have a dragon to worry about. Well, when I left that room to search for clues, the engineer told you something. Something that pushed you over the edge. She did basically lose it. I didn't want to call her on it in front of the engineer, but... her eyes narrow. That son of a bitch said a lot of things. What of it? Well, what do you think? I want to know what he told you. With all due respect, that's none of your business, Lady Blue. Nah, we can't step back now. She'll lose all respect for us. Isn't it? You beat the tar out of the man because of what he told you. As your team leader, I need to know why that happened. It takes her a long time to respond. When she does, her voice carries a tone of resignation. You really want to know? Alright, fine. I'll tell you. He told me about a bunch of Polish towns that my unit swept for syndicate activity. He told me how the mob poured back in right after we left, and what they did to the people who'd accepted our help. He told me about the beatings, the rapes, killing rooms, and the torture, and worse. He relished in describing it, the relentlessness, hideous barbarism of it all meant to teach some sort of lesson. I think that's the cruelest part of this entire story. Those people, they didn't need a lesson in how terrible life can be. They live with that every day. Yuli seemed to find all of this hilarious. Yes, I know he was pushing my buttons on purpose, and yeah, I know he was trying to make me lose control. The hell with it, he deserved a good beating. Yuli didn't pull any punches, so I didn't pull any punches. And if you have a problem with that, you can go and get fucked. Well, you don't want to push her too far, right? I don't know. I mean, really, you could probably play that. She likes that soldier stuff. Let's pick the middle ground. Cool down, Iger. We're on the same side. I know. Sorry, I guess I was still a little on edge about this, which is exactly what Yuli wanted, of course. She grits her teeth. I just can't help thinking, what if he wasn't playing me? What if those things did happen? If I leave things where they stand, there'll always be some hope that he was lying, but if I dig into this and find out he was telling the truth, if I find out that none of what we did meant anything... You can't just leave it like this, a question mark. I know you, Iger. You're too strong to run from the truth. I'm not running from anything, fearless leader. I'm going to look into this, whatever it leads me. Wherever it leads me. She looks you in the eyes. But I'm not doing it today. When you're ready to start looking, you can call on me for help. I've got your back, Iger. She nods. I know it, and I'm glad. Now, let's change track. Is there anything else from the run you'd like to go over? She folds her arm across her chest. If you have any thoughts, I want to hear them. Well, have you had a chance to play with that rifle? The most important part of the mission? Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of engineering. Shoots straight, has good stopping power, holds a big magazine. She nods appreciatively. A really nice gun. Well, I'm really glad we went back to pick that up. You mentioned a bunch of aftermarket mods when we found it. Figured out what they do? Just one. It can tag a chambered round with an RF transmitter. After the round hits a target, the transmitter pings on a designated channel, broadcasting the target's exact location to anyone listening in. In layman's terms, you can use this thing to mark a target. There's cyberware that does the same thing, and Deckers do it all the time, but this is the first time I've seen any kind of functionality on a rifle. Not bad. Not bad at all. Agreed. I've been reluctant to cart an AR along with me up till now. In my opinion, assault rifle that is to say, the added mid-range stopping power didn't justify the trouble of carrying another big bulky weapon in the field. Being a walking arsenal is fine and good, but it's also noisy and cumbersome. Those are two things that every sniper tries to avoid. She pats the engineer's rifle. This thing, though, this adds enough utility that I think it's worth the extra weight. I'll find a way to make it work. Alright, Igers, thanks for the talk. Thank you, fearless leader, both for the chat and for the assist on the run. If there's anything else you want to talk about? Nah, we're good. Alright, well, I believe that'll wrap up today's episode. I think the music's already died down. Next time, we will continue with Iger's side quest to go hunt down, well, the missions aren't even here. You can never find the missions. But, Harrow, that's the one. Take the van to Harrow's compound. So yeah, we'll start next episode with that, and, should be fun. I'm pretty much 100% sure that the shops and dialogue do not update after a side quest or a small mission, like one of these that we've been doing. Probably after the next big one, we'll get an update, and I expect, more weapons, more magic, and all that. But for now, I need to find a van. Actually, don't know where the van will be. I'll find the van in between episodes. And next episode, we'll start with that. So thanks for watching, folks. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.